Hey guys, Abby here. How are you all doing? Today's topic is kind of a touchy one. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. It is about interracial cuckolding and what is the appeal. Um, have you ever had the desire, guys? I'll ask you guys, have you ever had the desire to see your woman with someone of another race? And if you have, why? Or have you wondered why? Um, Even if you haven't and you've seen others and you want to know what the appeal is to those that do, why is it such a huge fantasy? It's another question, especially with BBC. Um, have you or your significant other ever explored this? Let me know in the comments because I've had several emails asking these questions. So I wanted to bring you my thoughts on why this is even a thing. So here we go. Gonna use the matches again today. All right, kids, we ready? Ready to get into this? So, although this could be the interracial tango between any race, most commonly it is referred to a white woman with a black man. On the surface level, some of the reasons for the appeal aren't really that exciting. For some, it's the contrast in skin color that is appealing and sexy. The vision of the milky white skin of a female against the black skin of the males. This is very arousing for some. And that's where it ends. Very basic and surface level as far as that goes. And I would have to agree. The color contrast is an appeal, at least for me. For others, the appeal of interracial cuckolding goes far below the surface and can have its roots in any or all of the following elements. First one being the appeal of what's considered taboo and it being sexually arousing. Now, granted, modern day society has come a long way in viewing this sort of sexual relationship as being taboo, but we do have a long way to go. Taking that into consideration, engaging in interracial tango is still viewed as taboo. It makes it all the more appealing. It's the thought behind that being that, in human nature, you always want what you can't or shouldn't have. Another below the surface level reason is perceptual contrast. For example, put your left hand in a bowl of cold water and your right hand in a bowl of hot water. Leave them there for a while. Then plunge both hands into a bowl of lukewarm water at the same time. The left will feel hot while the right will feel cold. So how this would relate to interracial cuckolding is that cuckolding is rooted in the masochistic male feels unworthy, his penis is too small, his wife wants and deserves more or better tango than he can provide, etc. As a result, the perceptual contrast is that the more these shortcomings are amplified, the more erotic pleasure he will experience. Now add a black male, which are stereotypically, please forgive me, stereotypes here. Not that I agree with them or condone them. They are what they are, stereotypes. In which the black male is fantasized as being hyper masculine. They're portrayed as having bigger penises, muscular bodies, and to be more virile and promiscuous and more dominant with women. Now, whether or not these stereotypes are true is a completely different discussion. Nonetheless, these stereotypes do exist in the popular conceptualization of the fantasy, and that's what matters here when it comes to feeding the fantasy or fetish. Therefore, interracial cuckolding amplifies the psychosexually arousing feelings, particularly the ones that have their roots in falling short when it comes to comparisons and competitiveness. Last but not least, the internet seems to exaggerate this in that it boasts more extreme interracial content, offering examples of a white beta male and a black alpha male. It forms a disreality of sorts. Both races are caricatured in ways that just exaggerate just how worthless and wimpy white men are and just how superior and alpha black men are. Culminating an imagined future where black men take all the white women and breed the white race out of extinction. These are very outdated perceptions, I should say. But nonetheless, they are what they are, and they fall into this whole fetish and fantasy. Again, I will insert my little clause here. Remember, as I talk about these perceptions, this is a judgment-free zone here. Our channel, judgment-free, especially when it comes to fantasies. Remember that, people. No judgment here on the Abby Haute channel. Free to speak freely about your likes, desires, wants, needs. I lost my matches. Good thing I have a lighter in my case. Alright, back to it. Hyper humiliation is another below the surface reason for this fantasy. And again, excuse me, allow me to go out Archie Bunker on you here for a moment to explain the notion. And those of you who have watched Archie Bunker, know All in the Family, know Archie Bunker. You'll understand why I say that as I continue. For those of you who don't, pause the video, check out some Archie Bunker skits, and then come back, and you'll understand why. So, in the Archie Bunker mentality, on the racial hierarchy, racial social status of black male is on the bottom, and if a black male sleeps with white male's white female partner, the white male cuckold experiences an additional element of humiliation. And what I mean by this is that the white male is supposed to be at the top of the racial social hierarchy. However, when his woman chooses to bed with a black male over him, it sends the message that he has been replaced by someone who is supposed to be racially and socially inferior. As a result, this renders the white man as helpless, humiliated, and ineffectual while their white women are being defiled and taken, all while giving their orgasmic consent and giving the cuckold an intoxicating emotional and psychological high that if he likes to experience for two reasons. First, to feel alive, because engaging in cuckolding causes him to want his partner again with all intensified feelings about risk and possible denial. And two, to feel diminished, humiliated, sometimes via the experience or loss of control, serving as a release from tensions caused by the constant need to maintain and defend our dignity. One can give in and admit his shortcomings and limitations and can then feel unburdened due to shedding the oppressive constructs of the self. It's a lot of psychology going on there, guys. Another reason, subsurface level reason, is ambivalence. And this can be defined as the experience of having simultaneous conflicting reactions, beliefs, or feelings towards something or someone. Ambivalence is what is responsible for phenomena like love-hate relationships, Stockholm syndrome, why red conservative states who are opposed to gay rights have higher rates of gay pornography consumption. Food for thought. How people can view black men as racially, socially less than, while simultaneously fetishizing them and putting them on a pedestal regarding their sexual prowess. Ambivalence makes it possible to paradoxically view black men as inferior and superior at the same time. This allowing someone who has interracial cuckolding fantasies to experience both psychosexual pleasure of hyperhumiliation and the amplification of the competitive, masochistic, erotic pleasures of cuckolding via the perceptual contrast principle. So, in conclusion, I know that's a lot of information. As to why interracial cuckolding is even a thing. And it leads to a bigger question that if you're into interracial cuckolding, does this mean that all of these aforementioned things apply to you? Unequivocally, no. For some, the hyperhumiliation factor has nothing to do with their experience. The perceptual contrast of feeling inferior in their size, stamina, prowess, etc. is what appeals to them. Others will find that their arousal comes from feeling they've been disgraced by being sexually replaced by someone of an inferior race. It's humiliating, and there isn't a thing they can do about it. For some, the taboo element is their primary appeal. Again, as always, there are other nuances and reasons for the erotic appeal of interracial cuckolding. I feel that none of what I talked about, if none of what I talked about applies to you and you would like to share these reasons, your reasons for why it appeals to you, please feel free to leave them in the comments. I would love to know. You guys know I see my comments. You know I always comment on your comments because I love interacting with you guys so much. That is all I have for you guys today. I hope this helped give you guys a better understanding of, especially more than anything, like the psychological appeal of interracial cuckolding, and the thought process behind it. Whether that's something you're into or not, or maybe have just wondered about. Hopefully that helps answer some questions for you. And that is all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed, and we will see you real soon, everybody. Till next time.